Sorry guys, I had to help Mom with something. So I'm going to split this into two parts, so yeah, so let's continue with the video.
But he's our friend. No, this can't happen. Kitty can't die. Kitty can't die.
So we're how they react to it when it comes to him in the hospital.
This is where the dark humor of the episode comes from. The juxtaposition between how they normally react to Kenny dying and how they react now is genius. Ironically, the serious tone throughout the episode is what creates the humor, as typically Kenny's death is a pretty insignificant part of the episode, and no one takes it seriously in the slightest. This is highlighted throughout the episode, as it continues as a sort of medical drama, containing all the emotions and vulnerability that comes with them. And while this is funny in context, it simultaneously creates one of the saddest South Park episodes to date. The boys' reactions to finding out Kenny is going to die show the different reactions that people have to grief, and the emotions that they experience are conveyed.
People grieve differently.
Because of this, throughout the entirety of the episode, you're left with sort of conflicting feelings, an odd mixture of comedy and sadness that is seen in very few other pieces of media. The first pieces of media I think of that make you experience similar emotions are BoJack Horseman and any Bo Burnham special. The episode also creates this sense of unsureness, as you're left thinking the whole time, why are they making such a big deal out of this? Surely this doesn't actually mean what I think it means. I mean, Cartman said it best.
What, Kenny? He dies all the time.
But the seriousness of the episode keeps the thought in the back of your mind. Maybe this really is it. Maybe they really are going to.
It wasn't, trust me.
Episode, Kenny does in fact die, but of course that's to be expected. So that unsure feeling is still left in all the viewers. What happens next, however, I don't think anyone expected.
You bastards.
After this episode, fans were anxiously awaiting the release of the next episode, the final episode of Season 5. The episode fans hoped would see the return of Kenny, per usual. However, fans were left hanging, as the next episode featured almost solely Butters and his family, with only brief cameos from the boys, excluding Kenny. This meant that fans would have to wait until next season to know for sure whether Kenny was actually dead or not. And while the Butters episode may have seemed like it didn't answer the question, in hindsight, it gave us all the answers we needed, since, as I mentioned before, the reason the creators wanted to get rid of Kenny in the first place is because they liked Butters as a character, and wanted him to move into main character status. So by creating an entire episode solely about Butters, it was sort of their way of introducing Butters as someone we should care about. Sort of the nail in the coffin for Kenny's character. When the new season was finally released and Kenny was nowhere to be seen, this was the confirmation that fans hoped would never come. And as the season continued, they hammered home the point that Kenny was gone for real, with the boys guilt-tripping Butters for not being the friend Kenny was, and eventually holding tryouts for a new friend that will replace Kenny. And while this seemed like a conclusive end to Kenny's time on the show, there were some details that hinted at a possible return. For example, Kenny's soul still existed in the show. It was trapped in Cartman's body after he...
Yeah, that was weird. Him and Cartman were sharing bodies. That was kind of creepy, if you ask me.
To Scotland to meet Chef's parents and have the soul exiled from Cartman's body, where it eventually ended up inside of Rob Schneider, making it into a quirky feature-length film about Rob Schneider being Kenny.
I don't know who Rob Schneider is, so...
After that, not much is said about Kenny, and with the season finale only 2 episodes away, basically all hope of Kenny's return has unfortunately been lost.
Part 4, the end. Probably not.
We've reached the end of Season 6, and Kenny still isn't in sight, so I think it's safe to say he's gone for good. While this ended up being a great season, one of my favorites in fact, it just didn't feel the same without our favorite muffled voice. I feel like Kenny's death is a good reminder that nothing is permanent in this world. At any given moment, any of us could lose someone or something that's important to us. It's easy to take life for granted, and I think the creators wanted to remind us the lack of permanence in this universe.
Mr. Hanky.
And with Season 6 winding to an end, I'd like to give one final goodbye to Kenny. We'll never forget you. You'll stay in our hearts forever.
Oh, hey, Kenny. Dude, where have you been?
See, he returned in the Flash. They didn't leave him dead. Kind of situation with Brian. They killed him, but they brought him right back. That's all I can say. Yeah. Like I said, I'll have to split this video into 2 parts because I got interrupted because I had to help take a shelf for inside to outside, which was a pain in the ass, but I love helping people, so apologies for that cut, but had to be done. So with that said, guys, thanks for watching. Take care. I'm getting the fuck out of here. My name is Chris Fawcett, and I approve this message.